Growing up in poverty, and abandoned by her own mother, what life would come to her? Hi, welcome back to Explanation Pro. Today, we will recap an awesome movie called Lilia Forever from 2021. Stay alert. Watch out and take care. The movie begins with a young girl running from someone or somewhere. She finally makes it to a bridge, looking down at the road. She's some feet above the floor level and seems as if she is about to jump. Then the scene changes and it goes back to the past. 3 months earlier, to be more precise, in a place where the Soviet Union used to be. We find the same girl packing her belongings. Then, a friend of hers appears. The protagonist, whose name is Lilia, tells her friend that she's moving to the United States. She seems really happy about it. Unfortunately, her dreams shatter that same night. Lilia's mother tells the child that she'll have to wait in Russia for some weeks. The mother and her boyfriend will go over first to the country, then Lilia will go later. The mother doesn't provide a clear answer whatsoever on why she made that decision. The girl, who's only 16 years old, gets worried. She doesn't want to be alone. However, there's not much she can do to prevent it. The next morning, the mother is packing her bags in the car. She heads to Lilia's bedroom to say goodbye, but the child doesn't answer back. Lilia gives a cold hug to her mother and continues reading her magazine. However, when the mother leaves, fear overcomes Lilia, who runs after her. She begs her mother not to leave her. The mother promises she'll call her when they arrive at the States. As soon as she enters the car, the vehicle leaves. Lilia runs after it, but she falls into the mud. Lilia grabs a picture of her mother and tears it into pieces. Then she seems to regret the decision because she sticks it back with glue. Not long after that, a woman knocks on the door. She's Lilia's aunt, who tells Lilia she'll have to leave the flat and move to a different one. Lilia reaches her new home, but it's filthy and unwelcome. The woman says that if she doesn't want to live there, she can live in the streets. Lilia packs her belongings and moves to the new flat. When she gets there, she cleans it up and gets rid of the junk. Then she prays to God and goes to sleep. The following night, Volodya, one of Lilia's friends, is playing basketball outside. He then finds a group of teenagers going somewhere. He wants to join them, but the guys don't pay attention to him. Volodya offers them glue so he can spend time with them. Everyone meets at Lilia's flat. They drink medicines, inhale glue, and drink alcohol. They get high, laugh, and have a good time. When Lilia's friend is kissing one of the boys, Volodya attempts to do the same with Lilia. Lilia laughs and says that he's too young for her. All of a sudden, Lilia's aunt appears and slaps the child in her face. Then, she makes everyone leave. Finally, the aunt threatens Lilia to watch herself or things will get worse. Meanwhile, Volodya is being kicked out of his house by his father. The boy reaches a bridge and sits over the edge, staring at the bottom. Lilia, who went for a walk, finds her hopeless friend there. She immediately concludes that the boy is considering attempting against his life. Luckily, the girl convinces Volodya to come down. Then a man who was driving nearby asks Lilia for her services. He offers $200, but Lilia tells him off. Volodya confesses he has been kicked out of home, and gently asks if he can spend the night at Lilia's flat. There, the boy confesses that he was considering the choice of jumping over the bridge because the world is a horrible place. Lilia encourages him not to give up on his life. The next night, Lilia puts makeup on and wears a wig. She and her friend go to a nightclub. They drink, dance, and enjoy the moment. A man approaches Lilia's friend and they begin to talk. Eventually, the two go to spend some time alone. When the friend comes back, she has earned herself some money. That morning, though, the friend knocks on Lilia's door. She's with her father. The friend thanks Lilia for the money and returns it to her, then off she goes. Lilia cannot understand what's going on. So, the next day at school, Lilia asks her friend what happened. It turns out that the father found the girl's money. The friend lied, saying that it was from Lilia, who had earned it after having intimacy with an older man. This infuriates Lilia. Now she has the reputation of a prostitute, which she doesn't like at all. When Lilia leaves school, she throws the money in a trash can. Later, she carves on a wooden chair the legend Lilia Forever. Sadly, the group of boys notices her presence, so they insult her. Volodya encourages Lilia to leave, but she doesn't want to. Lilia wants to finish the carving first. That night, the electricity at Lilia's flat is cut off. She can't cook herself anything. She returns to the trash can to take the money back, but it's already gone. So, she decides to visit her aunt and ask for help. The aunt has moved to the flat that used to belong to Lilia. She is watching TV, not paying attention to what her niece has to say. Lilia asks about her mother, but the aunt says she hasn't written or called yet. Before leaving, Lilia steals a piece of bread and a bottle of wine. She shares both with Volodya. There, Lilia discovers today's Volodya's birthday, so she promises that she'll get him a nice present soon. The following morning, Volodya finds a jar of pills. He takes a bunch and swallows them, despite his friend's warning. Volodya, then, starts to feel dizzy. He doesn't answer Lilia's questions, and he falls on the floor. Everything, however, was a joke Volodya was playing on Lilia. Needless to say, this doesn't make Lilia happy at all, and she orders the boy to leave. Then, Lilia grabs some junk and puts it on sale in the middle of the street. She soon discovers it won't sell anything. Then, Volodya appears and apologizes to Lilia. The two move to play at the abandoned submarine base. Volodya confesses that he sleeps and lives there. The children inhale glue and play on the facility terrace. Before sleeping, they have a conversation regarding the afterlife. Volodya believes there's life after death. He says he'll be an angel and play basketball in heaven all day long. Unfortunately, Lilia has a different opinion regarding the future. She's still considering traveling to the USA. That's the only future she thinks of. When Lilia returns home, she finds a social welfare letter. The institution wants to have a meeting with her. There, a woman tells Lilia the sad truth. The mother has given up on Lilia's parenthood. She cannot believe it. Her own mother abandoned her. Back at home, Lilia takes the shattered picture of her mother and burns it down. She then dresses up and goes to the disco we saw some days ago. There, she meets with an older man who takes her to his house. They share intimacy, despite Lilia's lack of comfort. When the meeting is over, Lilia throws up in a corner. However, she has earned herself a good amount of money. She ends up buying plenty of goods, and a present for Volodya. Volodya closes his eyes, and when he opens them again, he finds a basketball. Lilia lies, saying that she bought it with her mother's money. The next night she does the same with a different adult. When Lilia is returning home, a car passes nearby and offers her a lift. Lilia tells him to go away, but the guy insists on helping her. He says that he's not looking for intimacy and that he only wants to help her. Lilia caves in and gets in the car. The young boy says his name is Andre. He takes Lilia home just as he promised, then invites her to go out someday. Just to spend the day and have fun, nothing else. Lilia accepts. Volodya was waiting for her at the stairs. He witnessed the conversation, and he believes Andre is expecting to sleep with Lilia. Lilia says that Volodya is jealous, but the boy says he's not. Andre and Lilia have their date. They play video games, laugh, eat at McDonald's, and end up kissing each other. Eventually, Andre asks Lilia to move to Sweden together. He says that they can live in a beautiful flat. He also says that he can find her a job, he only needs to ask his boss about it. Lilia hates her country, and the proposition seems quite promising. Back at the flat, we discover that Volodya's ball is broken, and says his father did it. However, the boy still holds dearly to the present. After that, the group of teenagers we saw at the beginning of the movie break into the flat. They kick Volodya out and harass Lilia. The moment was horrible, but Lilia still expects a brighter future. She promises she'll find a job for Volodya in Sweden, so the two can move together and enjoy a much better lifestyle. However, Volodya declines the offer. He believes that Andre is tricking Lilia just to sleep with her. On top of that, Volodya asks what Andre's job consists of. Lilia replies that Andre does something with vegetables. Of course, Volodya realizes there's something wrong with it, since vegetables don't grow during the winter. Lilia insists that Volodya is just jealous. Eventually, Andre gets the Swedish passport. However, Lilia's name has changed to Katya. Andre explains that this is to avoid any suspicion or problem regarding Lilia's age. After all, she is 16 years old, not 18, and there could be problems at the border. He also says that his boss has found a position for Lilia and that she'll be starting work on Monday. Lilia was hesitant when she saw her name changed, but got excited after finding out she got a position. Lilia then asks Andre if he can get a job for Volodya. Andre says that he's not sure, but will definitely give it a try. Lilia shows the passport to Volodya, who gets mad and leaves. He's sad that his friend is leaving. Before getting into the car, Lilia wants to say goodbye to Volodya, but the boy runs away. Lilia's heart is broken, but she has to leave without saying goodbye to her dear friend. When the couple hits the road, Andre confesses his grandmother is ill. He'll have to visit her before going to Sweden. So, Lilia will have to spend the first 2 days alone. While Lilia is flying to Sweden, Volodya is completely alone, crying on the floor. He takes a dozen of pills and swallows them all. He falls on the floor in front of Lilia's flat. Lilia's neighbor appears and asks the boy to leave. She believes the boy is drunk, but in reality, he has passed away. Lilia makes it to Sweden where Andre's boss was waiting for her. They get in the car and drive to the flat. The boss helps Lilia with the luggage. Before leaving, he closes and locks the door. Lilia tries to open it to no avail. She has no other choice but to stay there and wait for Andre or the boss to return. Lilia takes the trash out and decorates the flat. She goes to sleep, and we notice Volodya next to her. Volodya has now 2 angel wings. Lilia wakes up in the morning and takes a bath. Andre's boss returns, leaves some goods in the fridge, then gets into the bathroom. He closes the door, and we hear Lilia screaming. Later, Lilia tries to call for help, but the boss returns and hits her. He also threatens to kill the poor girl if she tries to escape. The boss takes the girl to her first day of work. The two arrive at a man's flat. The boss tells the man that he can only have her for 1 hour. So, the man uses the girl for his own morbid pleasure. This happens over and over again, with different men, all severely older than Lilia. One night, Lilia throws her religious picture to the floor. She builds a homemade shelter and sleeps there. In her dreams, she meets Volodya. Volodya shows that the basketball is fixed again. He also says that he's doing good, playing basketball all day. Then, Volodya takes Lilia out. They are on a terrace, staring at the world. Lilia says that she doesn't like this world at all. Volodya replies that, even though he has ended his life purposely, he regrets the decision. He explains that this is the only life she will have, and that she should take the most out of it, despite the pain and the suffering. After all, one will live for a short moment but will remain dead forever. After that, Lilia wakes up. She puts the makeup on, but this time, she purposely makes herself look like a clown. On top of that, she has cut her hair horribly. The boss buys a hat for her and takes Lilia to a different house. This man has a wicked fantasy of dad-daughter intimacy. Lilia tries to back down, saying that she's not the man's property, but the man ends up having his time with her anyway. After that, Lilia tries to escape. The boss catches her and beats the girl up so hard that Lilia faints. The boss takes her back to the flat and leaves her on the floor. While sleeping, Volodya tells his friend that the boss has forgotten to lock the door. Lilia seizes the opportunity and escapes. She runs desperately, not knowing where to go. She ends up making it to a bridge. She is about to jump but Volodya tries to stop her. In the end, though, Lilia jumps toward her death. After that, she's taken to an ambulance. The medics try to save her while Volodya watches the event. Lilia finally opens her eyes. Right after that, Lilia meets back with Volodya. They hug each other and smile. The two friends end up playing basketball on a terrace. Lilia has earned her wings as well.